Reec.
Yeah. Who you with?
Who you with?
Hey, we back at it feeling good on this Tuesday, the day after the holiday national barbecue and have your toes out day for all the uncles out there. Hey, man, we have a very special guest. I go by the name of Reec, of course. Let's go ahead and get all this stuff out the way. Shout out to my brother, Potty Ali, on the game, broadcasting live in Michigan, Indiana, and Florida. And, of course, we are live at Media Campus West for the Reec Show. Our guest today is not only an educator, but she is making sure that these kids are good for the future, and making sure that she changes the trajectory of their generation. So without further ado, we have Mrs. Nye, aka Mrs. Harris, aka Miss Langford. Okay, she go back real ATLian too.
Yes,
right here live on Reec Radio. What's going on, Miss Lady?
How are you today?
I'm feeling good. You're doing some amazing work, and we definitely want to dig into it and talk about it a little bit. But you started out in education.
I did.
She is a master of the unspoken form of communication, which we call sign.
Yes.
She's worked in some of the most challenging areas of education. And now she's here with her own business, going strong for the past, going on 5 years now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And she's doing her thing, teaching kids entrepreneurial skills, business skills. Let me hit the hype bell for me saying entrepreneurial the right way.
Yeah, he did.
Business skills. Man, I got a tooth pull, so like every word I say is like learning how to speak again. Because it's like right in the area where your cheek moves funny.
Okay.
So it's so weird to me. I can't wait to get this replacement. But she's definitely helping. This is like the missing link of education, I think.
Yes, the missing link. That is great.
Yeah, you could use it on the shirt, but I need a little credit.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I hashtag that. Reec told me.
Yeah, so I think that this is something that definitely should be taught at every level of school at some point, but it isn't. And you're filling in the void. So I really want to commend you on that and say I appreciate it. But I do want to dig into your past and your history a little bit. No scandals today.
None.
All right, but just about the educational piece and where you started from to where you're at now.
Okay.
So we just talking off camera a little bit, and you were talking about some of the schools that you were at beforehand.
Yes.
How in the world did you get into teaching, I guess, kids that can't hear, right?
So I learned sign language at church.
Okay, that's something I never saw at church before.
Really?
What church was this?
I used to go to Salem Bible Church in Atlanta, right off of Bankhead.
Okay.
Hightower, excuse me. And they started sign language ministry, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm going to sign up.
Wow.
And so I signed up. My girlfriend, Tiffany, she started the ministry, and we only knew the signs related to faith because we were at church.
Right.
And I was teaching at the Ash Street Center, and they wanted me to move from high school. High school was I love bigger kids.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to move to this elementary class, and I taught autism at the time, and there were 2 nonverbal students, and they was like, "Well, Nyana, you know sign language, you go." And I was like, "Okay." Right? So I go, and I'm in this nonverbal class, and it was really cool. And then they moved me from the Clayton County campus to an Atlanta campus.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Why?
It was
challenges.
It was
it
was the building. Like the building was run down. It just wasn't the best environment. Like I literally ate in my car.
Wow.
I had an aunt that lived around the corner. I would drive around there to use the restroom. It was just not a situation, right? And then that next year, I started to see job openings at the School for the Deaf, and I was like, well, I know sign language. Let me try it out.
Wow.
And that's how I got to the School for the Deaf, because I decided, hey, let me just see what it'll be. It might be great.
Right.
It might not, but I'm going to go for it, and I went for it.
That's awesome, man. See, you just pointed out 2, like, terrible things that deal with education. One, you talking about you go into the building, you trying to focus on your job. You can't even do it as a teacher because the building's messed up. So imagine what the kids are going through.
Right.
And then they lose a good teacher, most likely because of that.
That's all the time.
That is awful. So what can be done from that? Do we need to vote? Do we need to, would we need to do picket signs, or what happens?
I don't know. I think because of that school system, that building where I worked initially, it housed the students from Atlanta, Clayton, and Fulton.
Okay.
And so they decided, well, hey, you know, these other two counties, I was in Clayton and Fulton and Atlanta, apparently something was going on. So they were sending their kids back to the respective counties. And that elementary classroom that I was in, it was an Atlanta classroom.
Yeah, so it was under APS.
It was, no, we were under Clayton County, but that
It was
wasn't
in Atlanta.
But it's, yeah, so I was a Clayton County employee working in an Atlanta building.
That's confusing. All right.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Right.
So, we just got to get better buildings.
Yeah.
We have to get better buildings. We have to make sure that when we put our kids in there and our staff, that it's someplace that they want to go every day.
Absolutely, because I would hate to have a child that's dealing with an issue and then they have a good teacher and then the teacher doesn't want to stay because the building is run down.
The building was run down. Kids were taking stuff home in their book bags. I walked in with just me, my keys, and my cell phone because I didn't, and I changed my clothes out in the parking lot before I got back in my car.
Gotcha.
It was not a great situation. I lost like 20 pounds.
Wow.
Just that school.
Stress,
Just from stress.
Right. And eating lunch in your car.
Eating lunch in my car.
I don't want to give you PTSD. We're not going to stay on that. So you move on to the school for the deaf. Okay.
And
now
I love it there.
Full-fledged in sign language now.
I'm full-fledged. And they taught me the curse words. Those kids taught me everything. So I started out, I was middle school for 4 years. I taught middle school. And when I tell you, probably the best job I've ever had in my life. Those kids were amazing. And because of where I worked before, I was almost like the in-school suspension teacher because I was the no-nonsense person. I was the only African American that was certified in special education that taught in the middle school area. So I could get a job anywhere because nobody could do what I could do. Right. And so they would bring the kids to my class, and when first day of school out, I say, okay, everybody, let's go back out. And I would tell them, I was like, when you cross this threshold over here, I am the president. You do what I say. I'm not your mama.
The HTIC.
That's it.
That's it. Head teacher in charge.
And we never had any problems. We never had any problems. But we did great things there.
That little smile right there, that little smile lets me know that she's about her business. I like it.
Thank you.
So right now, we're talking to the owner of Business Owners of Tomorrow and Dream Chasers Academy, which we're going to get into. We're just getting a little bit of background. You're in this school. Now, what jolts you to break from the education system traditionally?
Okay. So I'm pregnant with my second daughter, and my dad passes away.
Sorry to hear that. Okay.
And thank you. And we have teachers. We have an eval. My principal comes in, and because of what I did.
Yes.
Usually for an educator, it is we just gonna pop up. You don't know we coming.
Okay.
They would schedule mine, so they would let me know when they were on the way.
Because you're a human resources nightmare.
Right.
You are a triple minority.
Yes.
Right.
So we going to let you know because we know anything could pop off at any time in here. So I prepped my kids. We done went over this lesson for a week. Short version, she says, Nyana, you did everything that you were supposed to do, but you just didn't seem excited. So I have to give you a bad review.
Wow.
She put a bad review on my file. And remember, I'm pregnant.
No disregard for your personal situation. You
none.
got a close family loss, and you're expecting.
And I acted a whole fool. Right?
As you should have.
I did.
I'm not condoning that behavior, but I
not
understand.
me either. But I did.
I get it.
I did. And when it was time to sign contracts, I just said, "I know I'm not gonna come back." And she was like, well, do you want to be a substitute? No, I'll figure it out.
Right.
I'll do something different.
Take my talents to South Beach, like LeBron.
Please.
I understand.
So that was the reason why I didn't go back.
Okay. And then you decided to start your own thing.
I did. So while I was there, I taught middle school econ.
Okay.
And every year I taught my students how to create an income on a business that they chose. Like we walked through this unit every year for 4 years. And I was like, well, if I can do this for kids who aren't able to even speak,
Right.
I know I could probably do this like every day.
Yeah.
And I got an opportunity to do that with my own daughter when she just randomly baked a cake at my house.
That's the best way, the natural way, right?
Yeah. And so, I was like, how'd you do it? And she's like, oh, I followed this recipe. And I was like, where'd you get that book? She's like, oh, it's one of the books you gave me a couple weeks ago. And I was like, you can read that? Right? She's 7 at the time, and she's reading a cookbook, and she followed the instructions. I posted a picture on my Facebook page, and that was it.
That's it. Now you got young Martha Stewart in the house.
Young Martha Stewart. So we posted a picture of her cake, and in between the congratulatory posts, people were saying, how can I place an order? And I'm like, y'all, this a kid, So I sit her down and I explained to her that people will actually give you money if you bake them a cake. And she's like, money? I'm like, girl, yes, money. And she's like, let's do it.
Right.
So that was my blueprint. And I literally just documented everything that I did with her. And eventually through the process, we started to get her vendor events, and we got her logo, and I made sure that she had an input on everything.
Right.
When we got the first logo back, it had long straight hair. And she said, that don't look like me. And I had to, excuse me, she wants some curly hair. So it has 2 big afro puffs. She was very satisfied. Brown skin, just like her. So I made sure that she was instrumental in everything. But because it's her business, like all I have to do is sit here and watch her cook and make sure that she's baking and that she's washing her hands and that, she's not dropping anything on the floor. So it was... Parents began to inbox me and was like, hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? I think my kid can do that too. And it just kind of went.
Naturally.
It went naturally. Right. And I was like, okay, well, I ain't no fool. Let me LLC and EIN and all of this other stuff the legal way so that I can be able to bring that education to the people who need it.
That's full circle. You helped her business become a real business, and in the meantime you became the business. I became the business. Right. And you were her executive director.
And yes, I am.
Right. But I love it. And then you were able to help her make a cookbook.
Yes, she has a cook. She has a book, and it has some recipes in it. She also teaches courses to other young people. So she does 9 to 12, so she does a baking course. Okay. And she teaches them. She did one in person. It was like a 4-part. She taught them 4 different things, and then she just did one virtually this past April for her birthday.
We didn't get an invite.
Sorry.
This is ridiculous. The interview is over. I'm just kidding.
I'll get you an invite to the next one.
Yeah, we need an invite to the next one. We definitely want to check this book out. I want a quick breakaway. Where can people find the book?
If you go to her Instagram, it's Chef Destiny Bakes, and just click the link in her bio, and you can get the book there.
Okay, check it out. I love it. I love the graphics and everything. It's
Thank
representation.
You.
That's
yes.
what we need.
Yes. She wanted everything to look like her.
I love it. I love it. All right, fast forward. You helped your daughter. So you see this process work.
Right.
And not only does she have a baking business, she breaks off and becomes the teacher.
Yes.
Right. So now she's taking the next level. Everybody wants to learn to do something. Now you saying, okay, I can show you how your kids can make their own funds.
Right.
Right. Be their own brand.
Right.
All right. So how did you jump into, all right, let me do my classes? Because you have some wonderful classes.
Thank you.
People are talking.
Thank you. Right. Y'all keep talking. How did I break into that? My neighbor, she was instrumental. She was a baker also, so she would give Destiny, that's my daughter, she would give Destiny pans and different kind of tips and stuff like that. And then she says, well, when are you going to start teaching kids? Because my daughter wants to make lip gloss.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay. So ironically, my mom passed away. And when my mom passed away, my mom passed away, I was like, you know what? I just got to stop, because a lot of times we just put the tip of our feet in the water instead of just cannonballing in.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I just got to go all in. And I hosted what we called it at the time, it was a youngpreneurs, it was just like a 4-hour workshop.
Okay.
And my neighbor's daughter came, and a bunch of other people came. That was the first one that we did. We did it in Forest Park, and I didn't make any money. I didn't make any money, but I was so satisfied at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like what I do, because a lot of times I don't get paid, but I don't even really care. But she came, and by the time she got home, I would say like an hour later, she had like 5 orders. Wow. She had already had the supply, so I didn't teach her how to make the lip gloss. I just taught her how to sell it.
How to monetize.
She figured it out. She came up with her own vegan, gluten-free, vegan, animal cruelty, whatever the word she's using, lip gloss. Right. And then she started to make chapstick. So shout out to Forever Glossies. She's my first ever student. Her name is Amaria. She's on Forever Glossy on Instagram. So that's how we got here.
Look at all these success stories branching off of this idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Let me hit this hype bill. I hate the schools lost a good one, but you're
lost
still
a good
teaching.
one, but I'm still teaching.
Right.
I'm still teaching.
Skills that can cross over into everyday life and keep going for the rest of life.
For the rest of life.
Right. Now you probably got kids teaching their parents how to make some money.
You know what? I do have parents that ask, and you know, I don't have anything against grown-ups because I am one, right? But I know what I like, and I like children because children do what you say. Adults always have a rebuttal. But what about this? That's not what I told you to do. You know, kids are used to an adult in the front of the room. If she says go left, they go left. Every now and then you get somebody to go right, but you can bring them back.
Because they hit a wall.
Right. But adults don't do that.
What I like about what you're saying is you have a passion for it. Usually at the end of the show, we do a Pops Knows Best or Reese's Peace of Mind, right?
Okay.
So Pops just said this yesterday. We were talking about careers.
Okay.
He says, you better do what you love because you're going to spend more time at work than you will at home in most cases.
You
right?
will.
And that stress will take you out fast.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're doing what you love. You're in front of these children, and you're helping them get to the next level, right? And you've made a business out of it.
I did.
Business owners of tomorrow.
Business owners of tomorrow.
Right. And this vision is to bring the best in today's youth by education, right?
Yes.
So tell me about attacking this vision. How do you go about it?
It's so hard. I think the most difficult part of it for me is just finding the children. I do have a lot of little girls, and I've been searching high and low for young men. But I think because of athletics and all other kind of things, I'm not sure if they're just not interested or if they just miss it. So that's the most difficult part, is just finding them. But once I find them and they understand, once I find them and expose them, because exposure is the second portion that many of them they just don't know. They think, oh, I have to go to college, or I have to be an adult, or I can't start a business and I'm 11. And so once I get rid of all the gunk and the junk that they've heard and show them students who are making $300 a week or $500 a month, and these are kids that are their age. Now they're like, wait a minute, my mama didn't tell me that. And so I'm your surrogate mom today.
You're your business mom. You're the business mom.
Okay, I can be the business mom too. Because they all are my kids. But I'm going to be your mom, and I'm going to show you how from today until we are done, whether it's a week-long program or a 2-week-long program, how you can be just as successful and you can be whoever it is you want to be. My goal is I want you to have an option. Right. I went to college and I got an undergrad and a master's degree because that's what they told me I had to do.
But you got, let me hit the hype bell for that. Everybody can't get those.
Yes, I have both of those. They told me I had to do that. Right? But now my 14-year-old, she has a book. She teaches courses.
Talk to me.
She bakes. She's a speaker. Okay. Right? She's 14 with 4 streams of income. And this is her option is, if I want to go to college, I'm going to go and not waste my parents' money. Destiny. I had to tell her that all the time. I'm going to go. But if I don't want to go, I've created enough income where I don't have to. Talk to me. Let me hit that bell for that again. And that's the goal. Right. The goal is options. Right. And that's a lot of times that we just don't have the options, or we don't know the options exist. we don't really exist.
Right. I like it. I love everything you're saying right now. We have people on the chat chiming in. Ms. Peaks is saying she had 2 females and 1 male right now.
Right now.
All right, so make sure that you guys link in with Mrs. Harris. Can you give them the website right now?
The website is businessownersoftomorrow.com.
Okay.
And you can find us on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, businessownersoftomorrow.com.
Okay. So make sure you guys check that out right now. Get that information and lock in. Now let's talk about these courses. We got a Dream Chasers Academy, which is a offshoot of this, right?
Right.
Okay. Now what is that?
So we've actually changed the name to Teach Kids Business because that's going to be. I'm working towards having that as the nonprofit, but. For today's purposes, it's going to be Dream Chasers Academy. Okay. So that is the 6-week course that we offer. We actually have one starting next Monday, and we have about 15 spaces still available. So if you know somebody that wants to register for it, you can do that on our website as well. And what we do is we walk the students through 0 to 100. So about 75% of the students that come to me have no idea either why they're there or about entrepreneurship. Okay. The other 25%, they have in the interest. They may even have a business, but they don't have a business plan. They don't have. We do profit and loss statements. Like we work. Right. So we're adults in kid bodies on the side of the table, and so a lot of the kids that have that. I want them to be able to make sure that if your mom has to drop you off at an event, that you can run that table like an adult and nobody would think twice about it.
Got you.
Right? So I have all those kinds of students in one spot. Okay. So we, in our last cohort, we did virtual. The kids chose a business. They chose candles. And we actually walked, we named it. We created the logo. We identified all the products and services it needs. We priced it. We came up with the sketch, how we wanted it to look, the fragrances we wanted them, how long the wicks were going to be, what kind of glasses. We priced it all out. And everything that we did in class, the kids had to translate to their own businesses because candles was just something that was the class project. That this is what we're going to do to allow you to see what the process is. And then you translate that process to what it is that you want to be. So we do have some students who they don't have products, they do services. So we have photographers, we have DJs, we have babysitters, dog walkers. We have a group of twins, and they are trash couriers in their subdivision. They pull the people's trash to the curb, and they take it back up, and they get paid a premium.
I need to move to this neighborhood. I missed trash day this morning. The holiday threw me
off.
No! It threw me off.
But they usually a day late either.
I know, but it was like, all right, I knew for sure they weren't coming yesterday. Right. And I was like, I'm going to get up and take it out Tuesday. When I got up, Brain was telling me it's Tuesday. So
you heard them coming.
I heard the trash truck coming. It was too late.
Oh, man.
I usually bribe them with Gatorade so they'll come back.
Yeah.
But he was like, I can't.
Well, see, they come twice a week in my neighborhood. They come on Tuesdays and Fridays. So,
you privileged. Go ahead and throw it in my face.
He said I'm You know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
I like what you're saying because you give them a blueprint and they can basically plug and play because these concepts, they are transferable.
Right.
Okay.
So on day one, after they create their individualized entrepreneurship plan, we give them the top 100 businesses under $100 that they can start, kind of like as a brain jogger. And they can either pick one of those. Some of them decide, well, the twins, they're a partnership, so we want to go in business together. So now we have another dynamic that we have to talk about because we have to talk about splitting profits and we have to talk about savings and spendings. We also teach them how to reinvest in the business. I teach them to pay their parents back because I want my money back.
You got to pay the investors.
Give your investors something, please. Can I get $20? Gas is $5 a gallon.
I need to hire you to come to the house.
Okay.
Just to talk to the children.
So we teach them that, and we also teach them the element of giving. So I believe that when you give, you get in return. So, I told them, if you just give, lunch money to somebody at school, or if you see somebody, you don't have to give them a substantial amount of money. You don't have, but be a donor. Make somebody else's day. Pay it forward. And that way you'll always be in the business to receive on the other end.
Yeah.
So
giving without expectation is something that I preach to ours, and it's also like the feeling is the return.
Right.
Don't expect anything.
Don't expect
But
anything.
usually things do come back your way in one way or other. Right. And you probably didn't even realize that's where it came from.
Right.
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 All right. Now you got these 6 different things. You kind of ran through them:
I'm
save,
sorry.
invest, compound,
Yes.
spend, paying back the investor, which gets them ready for the mindset of banking,
Right.
borrowing, and return the payment. Right. So that's awesome. This is some incredible stuff.
Thank you.
All right.
We also teach them how to write the business plan. We do a bunch of mindset work too, because they have to understand, especially when they're out selling their products and services, that some people just gonna say, "Oh, this cute," and they're gonna keep going. And I need you to have tough enough skin to not be hurt that nobody bought your stuff.
Don't take it personal.
Right. Like, it's okay. Everybody's not your customer, right? Everybody's not your client. Everybody's not going to see and feel the way you do. But also to show gratitude to those who are supportive, right? Always say thank you. Always stand up. Always look people in the eye. Always shake their hand. Like those basics that we learned growing up that a lot of our students now are absent of, just making sure that they have that foundation, if you will, to show to other people, because I believe it's important.
It's life skills. It needs to be taught, and when there's a missing teacher, you can fill the void. I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
Hey, man, she giving us gold today. I want all the parents out there, I implore you to check out her website if
Thank
you can. Sign the students up. My educators out there that know a student that this may work for them.
It may work.
Let's send a recommendation her way. I
Thank
got
you,
3
please.
students for you lined up right now.
Thank you
ready
so much.
for this next
Please.
set of classes. So on Instagram, all social media, it's Business Owners of Tomorrow.
Business Owners of Tomorrow on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok.
Okay. Right.
No, on TikTok we are Teach Kids Business.
Okay.
I don't know why that one is different, but that one's just, but still.
I think it's because I think you can only have a certain amount of characters. That's probably
That's
what
probably
it was.
why, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. I love that these names actually match what you do.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
So this shirt says Teach Kids Business that I'm wearing, but some of my kids are now teenagers and they don't want to be called kids. So we do have a shirt that says Teach Teens Business, and it's got sparkles and all that other kind of stuff.
I like it. So let's talk about this. I have chickens, right?
Okay.
And I got my 5-year-old. Let's just say she wants to start selling eggs. What are 2 or 3 things you would tell her from the beginning? What should she do to get this thing started?
I first want her to make sure that she wants to sell eggs because it's something that she wants to do, not something that her parent
wants her to do. Major key.
Right.
Right.
Don't ever go into business because somebody's like, oh, you can make a lot of money, because if it's something that you're not passionate about, you're going to lose interest, and now your parents would have invested all this money and it's going to go down the drain.
See, and that's what I talked about earlier. You got to do something you love.
Got to do something you love.
All right.
The second thing I would have her to do is just let's kind of do research on the different kinds of eggs. We need to do some research on where people are harvesting, if that's a word, eggs, and where you can sell them. Like, are we selling them in the grocery store? Are we selling them at the farmer's market? Are we selling them on the side of the road? Like, let's figure those things out. And then we also have to come back and say, well, how much are people charging for eggs? Because do you have to buy the chicken?
Lots of market analysis going on.
See, we have to do a lot of this kind of stuff. So it's people think about, oh, I'm just sending them to this entrepreneurship class, and what are they going to be doing? Work.
All right, we'll figure it out.
We had to dig deep to get the answers to all these questions, so that we can make sure that on paper that it makes sense to somebody who's going to invest into your business. Right. Because I can tell you anything, but if the numbers, the math ain't mathing. Okay.
It's not gonna don't make sense.
Ain't nobody giving you no money right. if the math don't add up.
Right.
So I had to make sure that all that works.
And that's in the business plan and everything.
It's in the business plan. It's in the profit and loss statement. It's going to be in how we write up what your prices are, what your profit margin is. It's all of that's going to be identified. Because all that's important. I know to me and probably to you as a business owner, all that stuff makes sense. If I asked you for an investment right now, you would want to see that.
Right.
So I don't want to have my students in a position where they can't provide the documentation that I would have to provide because it's the same thing. Only difference is our age.
Yeah.
But we're still business owners.
Yeah.
So that's important.
At the end of the day, the money sees no age limits.
Not none.
Right. I like it. So very practical approaches. A lot of business, a lot of you got to find out what's going on. So I got to do some research. But because of your personality, I think it makes it fun and it makes it engaging.
Yes, we have a good time. I always approach the class as I'm everybody's favorite auntie. Right? I'm your favorite auntie. I'm the auntie that's gonna let you probably stay up to 10:30 when you have to be to bed at 8. So right, we have an understanding. And I like to have a nice, warm, fun atmosphere.
Right. Okay.
I like to make sure that the students are engaged, that, it's most of my students want to be there, so I don't have to necessarily deal with behaviors or anything like that. We have a great time.
It sounds like it. I like it.
We have a great time.
And you got a course next week.
Yes, we have a course next week, so it's going to be at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. It's going to be from July 11th through the 22nd.
Okay.
It is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday, rather. Okay. We have breakfast and lunch. The kids I think we have 4 guest speakers so far. The kids do a, what do I like to call it? They have all the other all my former students that live in Georgia. They're going to come here. Oh, we call it the ugly truth. Thank you, brain. So they get to sit down and ask other young people, the good, bad, and ugly. How much money do you really make? And I can tell you one thing, but they're going to tell you what they really make. They're going to tell you if they like it. They're going to tell you what they don't like about it. So that's always important. And on the last 2 days, they're going to have the opportunity to pitch their business to some of the local business owners in Atlanta. So we'll have 2 days of the pitch competition. And they will also have access to a vendor event on July 30th. That's going to be in Forest Park.
Nice. I like it. Let me hit the hype bell for that. Sounds like an awesome, wonderful course. Definitely want you guys to sign up for it. Thank you for taking the time out to come chop it up with us.
Thank you. I enjoyed every moment.
And we appreciate what you're doing for the youth.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me out
Molding
here.
those young minds.
I know.
All right. Yeah, we already did our Reec Peace of Mind. So next thing we're going to do is get back into this mix. Make sure that y'all keep it locked in right here. Reec Show Live, Reec Radio. And appreciate you guys tuning in on the stream. If you want to follow her online, make sure that you go to the website, the Business Owners of Tomorrow. Is it .com?
Yes.
.com. Make sure that you support and sign your kids up for this wonderful situation right here. All right, y'all. We getting back to this mix. It's Reec Show.